It is a very good afternoon, and thank you for always keeping it the focus group. Thank you for always following us on our social media handles at Sharon Paul SP, that is on YouTube, and Thuku Mwita Thuku on YouTube as well. Sharon Paul SP on Facebook and Sharon Paul Media on YouTube. And today in the focus group, we are pleased and very honored to have a guest who is going to take us through a report of a study that was done a few days ago. And this study was targeting to understand issues in the bipartisan talk. So this is a report done on the public participation on bipartisan talks. In the studio with us today is the founder and CEO of Infosearch Solutions Limited, Mr. Joshua Odhiambo. Karibu sana, bro.
Thank you, thank you.
How have you been?
I've been good.
I know this is it's been a long time coming.
Oh, it's been a long time, man.
Karibu sana katika studio zetu. This is the focus group, na leo tunataka kuchambua maswala ya utafiti. Now, just to give a slight background information about this study that was done by Joshua Odhiambo katika kampuni yake ya Infosearch Solutions. Now, in 2023, around January, to be precise, since January 23rd, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and the Azimio la Umoja counterparts, there have always been a series of country-wide rallies calling on the supporters to reject the current government under the leadership of His Excellency, the President William Samoei Ruto. Now, we get to understand that the coalition gave the president, this is Mheshimiwa Ruto, they gave the president's administration a 14-day ultimatum. That was on the 22nd of February, the very year of 2023, to address increases in living costs and publish data from the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission, that is the IEBC server, for the August 22nd elections. Now, after the period elapsed without the government really complying with the demands that Odinga brought forth, on March 20th, the first day of the civil disobedience. Now, very many Kenyans, in thousands of them, heeded to the veteran opposition's leaders' call for anti-government protests on Mondays and Thursdays, ambapo tulikuwa tunaziita maandamano Mondays and Thursdays. And this was because the government did not comply to what the Azimio Brigade really wanted. Now, these occurrences led to the formation of the bipartisan committee to spearhead the dialogue between the government and the opposition to address the pressing issues from both sides. Now, with this background of information, of which was the basis of the study that was done, this is where now we bring in an expert in market and social research, Bwana Joshua Odhiambo. Now, as we dive into this conversation, as we also give a report on the public participation on bipartisan talks, let me bring in my brother in the research industry, just to give a very brief introduction of himself once again, as we now dive into the talks of the day. Karibu sana, Mr. Josh.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Once again, this is Joshua Odhiambo, the director, Infosearch Solutions Limited. We offer both the market and social research. So what I will say is quite impressive right now. Like in the morning when I reached the office, I got papers on my table, and I was so much interested on one of the dailies. The headline was like the handshake fear, and I thought of the report that we are discussing right now, and I said, wow, what a coincidence. Are these bipartisan talks leading to this handshake that they are fearing? And that was it. And back to the topic. Yes, this study was conducted between 28th September and 3rd of October. Yeah. So just a brief background of opinion polls. Opinion polls are just human research survey of public opinion from particular sample. Yeah, it's a sample that represent the whole population. Yeah, because as also an expert, you know, we can't talk to everybody.
Exactly.
We are at 50 million right now.
Yeah, we can't, however much we always want to have a public participation, we'll just get a sample that represents the characteristics from different regions so that they can give us the thoughts and opinions about such kind of studies.
Very true.
Now, the question that I wanted to drop in was, why the opinion polls?
Okay, why the opinion polls? Again, this is just a way of getting information, as said before, from a particular sample. And they do not explain why respondents believe as they do or they say. Now, after doing this, it's the duty of the scientists and the scholars to interpret. Yeah, why this side or why this opinion. So it's up to us to explain that. And it also gives the people a chance to speak for themselves instead of letting only, the vocal media stars like you speak on their behalf.
I like the idea that you're saying scientists and the scholars. So we are the scientists and the scholars to try and dissect what happens here, and we give a feedback to the people after the data collection has been done.
Exactly, that's why we are here. Yeah, we do the analysis and we give the report. And the slogan of Infosearch Solution has always been, we research, we deliver, then you decide. Why opinion polls again? Opinion polls gives people who do not usually have the access to the media and the opportunity to be heard. So we do the opinion polls, then we throw it out there for the media, then you discuss it, and it reaches the particular people.
Now, okay, thank you. Now, just for better understanding, how much can we say these opinion polls can be influential, let me say, to any trending topic, political topic that a case study can be done? Can it sway people's thoughts and opinions? Manake, utapata kama there are some other people that actually they don't even know what is happening in the country. They're just there, and then when you go to ask them about certain questions about what is happening in the government, what is happening in the political, social spheres, that is the first time maybe they're getting about this information. But do you think the opinion polls can sway somebody's perception, somebody's thoughts and opinion to make them behave in a certain characteristics in a certain way?
I believe so. That's why from the start we said it's the knowledge, perception, and support levels. Yeah. So perception is, I will say, is a level whereby it's based on a 50-50 knowledge. I'm not sure or I'm sure. Yeah. So it's very simple. Like, for example, we don't know what's really going on in Israel, but the perception is there is a fight over there.
There's a war.
There is a war over there.
We don't know what is happening in Haiti, but
we are headed there. Yeah. So when I go back, maybe in town, then I tell them, "Oh, talks are over," or "These and these is happening right now." You see, they will take it from that point of view that this thing is happening, even if they are not sure about it. So it can influence.
Okay. Yep. Now, I'm sure anytime that we're having a study, be it a social study, a market study, and now, for instance, this one is a political opinion study. We always have some demographics on the best way that we can have the best respondents for a specific study. Maybe you can give us an overview of the demographics for this study. Who are the people that you are targeting? Were they in the rural? Were they in the urban? Maybe were you also targeting a specific religion, or it was open for all? Maybe you could just take us through that before now we go to the real bipartisan talks.
Okay, thank you. Let me just give you maybe a short summary of how this thing was done. And we managed to reach 3,548. Those are adults. Age 18 years and above.
Now, the sample size was 3,000?
3,548.
3,548.
And it was cutting across. And the target group was 18 years and above. Then the data was weighted for gender and age groups. The response rate was at 95%. And the information in this report has been compiled in accordance with the international standards. Yeah, we've met the standards.
Okay.
Yeah, though figures in charts and tables may not add up to 100%, but due to the rounding, so because you'll get certain figures at maybe 33.455, so it's being rounded. Then the data analysis was done using two softwares. For the quantitative, we used the SPSS, and for the qualitative, we used ANOVA. And when we come to the demographics, it was broken down into age, religion, gender, employment, and the level of education. Whereby when we talk about the gender, we had 53% male and 47% female.
Brings the question that we always say we have very many females by the population census. We have very many females than males, and now in terms of participation in such kind of studies, why do you think females tend to shy off matters to do with political discussions?
Okay, as much as we like to do a 50-50 presentation of the studies that we usually do, and we don't usually want to run out of the information, we must meet the threshold. But women tend to fear giving their views. Yeah. So if we had a target of maybe 4,000, it must be met. Yeah. Either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now bringing us to now the real backbone of this study.
Yeah.
We've always had such kind of talks.
Yeah.
I don't want to call them bipartisan talks, but if we look back into history, the previous and past regimes have always had talks, maybe to air grievances, to get an alignment so that the business of the government can run, or maybe to bring peace. For example, when we had the 2007-2008 post-election violence, there were talks. Yeah. And now maybe you can give us a brief history and journey of these talks, because we realize in every other government, in every other political arena, they come with a different name.
Different names.
Yeah, like for now, we are having the bipartisan talks.
And we are not sure the name which is coming up.
Exactly, you're not so sure, because as at now, we know it is a talk going on.
Sure.
That's why it's called a bipartisan talk. We have the government and the opposition, and we are still waiting to hear the recommendation, the results, and every other thing that people's interests were brought within the talks, and if they will come out. Maybe if you can just give us a little history or the journey of these talks and how they've changed names from when they started.
Okay, Mr. Sharon, I wish I voted during the Moise era and the others, but anyway.
When was the first time you voted?
That's private and confidential. So the political bipartisan talks have become a prominent feature in Kenyan's political landscape, Kenyan political history, showcasing a complex interplay of interests. Yeah, you know, there is that aspect of interest, the ideologies and the power dynamics. Yeah, and having said that, throughout Kenyan history again, the last four presidents, the last four, we are not very sure about the Kenyatta's. The senior Kenyatta's background, have engaged in crucial bipartisan dialogues to ensure the seamless, and effective functioning of the governments. So there have been these talks in the last four regimes, and for instance, like the Moise era, we saw an establishment of the cooperation government.
When this was when ODM, not ODM, NDP merged with KANU.
And it was NDP, exactly. And merged with KANU, and a term coined to denote a collaborative approach to governance. That was Moise era. Then come to Kibaki's era, they tend to introduce a coalition government, popular known as the Nusumkate government, reflecting a shared power government. That was Kibaki's era. Then, do we say the most recent one? The Kenyatta's handshake, government emerged under Uhuru's leadership, emphasizing the importance of unity and collaboration. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but it never went well with others. And presently, now under the leadership of His Excellency William Ruto, William Ruto is advocating for the bipartisan talks, aiming to uphold the spirit of cooperation again for the betterment of the nation's governance. And we don't know how the outcome is going to be, but that's just a brief background of what has been happening on these talks.
Okay. And now, having seen the journey of these bipartisan talks, let me not say the bipartisan talks, but the talks between the government and the opposition. We've had Kibaki and Raila, we had Moi and Raila, we had Uhuru and Raila, and then again now we're having the opposition, which is the Azimio la Umoja and the UDA. There has to be something that leads to
we will say the Kenya Kwanza, not UDA.
Okay, the Kenya Kwanza. UDA is a party within
Kenya Kwanza.
At least you understood what I meant. Now, there has to be a reason that actually pushes the opposition or the government to reach to this level of coming to a talk so that maybe they can achieve certain aspects that may put the government on check and put the government in a working mode. Because if we allow the mandamano and the heckleness that we had previously continue for the longest time, it will take the government 2 years to settle to work on the manifesto. Now, for the bipartisan talks, I really wanted to know what really led to the commencement of these bipartisan talks. Because I know there are issues that were brought to the table by the Azimio Brigade and the Kenya Kwanza Coalition, so that they can have a unifying factor that will serve Kenyans. Because I know this is one of the aspects that you dealt with within the study.
Sure.
Yes.
So on a very light note, we've noticed, even from the history, Honorable Raila Odinga has been the common denominator here. Because we found in Moi's era, Kibaki's era, Uhuru's eras, and now President Ruto's era. So we want to know, you ask about the root cause of maybe the bipartisan talks. Even in real life, to know where you're going, you must know where you're coming from. So from the background that you gave, there have been mandamanos back then, the demonstrations, and President Ruto thought it was wise. What if we can give this thing a chance? And from the opposition side, they had weighty issues. And what are these weighty issues? The first two were about the high cost of living, and then we had the server issues. The IBC.
The election
malpractices, the way they put it. So these are the major things that led to these talks. Though it has been shaky, but at long last, they sat coming up with a report, which we don't know the outcome, the way it will come. Even from our point of view, it's still based on perception.
Now, and I know when you are engaging the respondents out there, to what level would you say that these people are even aware of these ongoing talks? Because, at times randomly when you're passing somewhere and you hear talks going on, you really wonder if people really know what government we have for the day and what is really happening with the government. What they always talk about is bei ya maisha imepanda. Now, when you are executing this and addressing this, what would you say was their level of awareness about the existence of the bipartisan talks between Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio Brigade?
Just to start with, let's look into the issues first from our side. There were issues which came from the Azimio side, and there are issues that came from the Kenya Kwanza side, the KK.
The KK.
What are these issues? One was to reconstitute the independent, that's the IBC, implementation of the two-third gender rule. Then we have entrenching into law the Constituency Development Fund, creation of office of the opposition leader, and embedding the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, resolving the high cost of living, auditing of the 2022 presidential election results, reconstructing IBC, then measures to prevent interference with the political parties, and outstanding constitutional matters like the governance issues, adequate checks and balances. Yeah. So those are the 10 issues which came up. Yeah. I'm very sure there were so many, but they were narrowed down to 10. Yeah. So after knowing that, we wanted to know now what's the ground saying. And the first thing we wanted to know if they are aware of any talks, the ongoing talks. And 97% are really aware that there are ongoing talks. And we have 1% who are saying they are not even aware that there are talks. And
Wako too,
they are not aware. Not that the Wako too, they are very sure there are no talks going on. Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know.
Then we have a 2% who are not sure. Wako too. So that's the Wako 2 group.
That's where now...
I don't know whether there are ongoing talks. Yeah. Then we wanted to know the support. For the 97% who are saying that there are ongoing talks. We wanted to know, do they support the ongoing talks? And 46% are saying yes. They support the ongoing talks.
That is out of the 97%.
Out of the 97%. Yeah.
So meaning the 46% is a majority.
It's a majority. So we come up again from the 97%, we do a round figure again, 100% of the 97%. So the 97%, when we wanted to know, so those are the guys who are asked whether they support the ongoing talks. And 46% of that population support the ongoing talks, and 41 are saying no, they don't support. And again, from the 97% who are aware that there are ongoing talks, are not sure whether to support or not to support the ongoing talks. Yeah.
So there's a percentage of the Kenyan citizens who, yes, they know that these talks are going on, and they support. There are some who don't support. And then there's another portion of the percentage that are not even aware that the talks are going on.
This is a population who are not aware.
They are not aware.
They are not aware that there are ongoing talks.
Ongoing talks. Now. And now, for such kind of talks times to happen, after they have had that kind of a parliamentary session, there's always that bit of the public participation. Of which is the main thing here. Public participation on the bipartisan talks. Now, I tend to wonder at times, wewe huku tu, hujui nini inaendelea, tumekuletea huu mswada at your doorstep, we're trying to ask you, this is where the government is following. Wewe mwenyewe haujui hata nini inaendelea in your country. It begs a big question of this kind of people. When the standards of living deteriorate, everything is skyrocketing, do they have a chance of even trying to complain ati maisha imepanda, yet wenyewe they are in that situation of they don't know what is happening, they've been given a chance to bring their grievances, and they can't even say something. How best can such kind of people be brought in, be roped in, so that they can also participate and be part of our contributors to this kind of bipartisan talks? Which begs my question of, are people aware even about the civil education?
Bwana Sharon, I will say again, even like in research, we can't reach the 50 million people. there is a population who are going to be represented by those whom we can reach. Yeah. So, like sensitizing these people, there is a group which will always be reached, and there is a group, who will never get interested in any participation being put together that a platform whereby they can air their views. We're coming back again, like in research, there will be a lot of refusal. There are people who will never participate in research. Then there will be the same people who will complain again. I was never asked about all these things, and initially they decided never to participate.
Not to participate.
So another question you are asking: what can be done for these people to participate? You know, we have freedom. Of participation. You can't force them.
I know in research you say kushiriki ni kwa hiari yako.
In fact, in research they even sign. They give us the consent. To interview them. So when it comes also to public participation, it's only for the willing. There are people who are not willing to participate. And you can't force them.
That is a given, and we always say for you to participate is out of will. And we always also have that striking rate of refusal, or somebody will start participating and then
in the middle
they drop. So I know some of the challenges that we face as researchers, and especially when we are collecting data. Now, before we proceed, because now I want us to get into something a little bit different, and it's still part of the report. There's a question that I really want us to discuss. Not even a question, but something that I would just like us to bring forth so that we can just a little bit delve into it. Meanwhile, it's the focus group coming to you, Kamakawa, and as I introduced to you before today, we are graced by the presence of one senior researcher. This is the founder and CEO of the Infosearch Solutions Limited, Bwana Joshua Odhiambo. Sincere apologies for not having Bwana Thuku with us today. He had a few errands to run outside there, but as a request and a humble request, kama kawaida, follow us on our social media handles. That is Sharon Paul on FB, and Thuku, that is Facebook as well, and Sharon Paul Media on YouTube, and Thuku on media as well. But Josh, you also have a social media handle. Where can people find you?
It's quite tricky. But, on Facebook, that's a social platform. They call me Josh Odhiambo. You'll get me over there. And I'm also on LinkedIn, Josh Odhiambo.
Oh, Josh Odhiambo on LinkedIn. Huko ndo mambo yote inafanyika.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you want more information on research, you can reach me on LinkedIn, Josh Odhiambo.
Okay. So sawa. Now, as we proceed, we realize in the previous regime, that is when the now president was the deputy president, and then we had Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta Mheshimiwa as the president. Excuse me.
Sorry.
When we had the handshake, it was the beginning of the end of the Uhuru and Ruto union. But now,
who said so?
It is always there in the public domain.
No, because you should put it. I think that's so harsh. You should sugarcoat it kidogo. Maybe you ought to have said it was a transition.
It was a transition. You know, in research we say it as it is. We don't sugarcoat.
Okay.
Because I mean, when the handshake came forth, we saw how now there was a bittersweet kind of relationship between the president and his deputy. But now, when we look at it as at now, we see that the president himself, now Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto, is the one who is even pushing for the bipartisan talks. What do you think could be the reasons why now the president with his all the skills of wisdom, is trying to give an allowance for these bipartisan talks to take place between the Azimio camp and the Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Okay, I'll go back to the real life situation, and I'm sorry for that. Like in marriage, you'll always have issues. Yeah, you might have issue with your wife. Yeah, abebe vitu aende. Yeah, you say I don't care. You can just leave. Then after a short while, you find it's not easy. Yeah,
Staying without her.
Staying without her with the kids and all the chores in the house. Yeah, then you start calling the brothers again. Oh, I'm sorry for what happened. We can still talk. So coming back to this scenario, you know, all these things are political. Yeah, as we said before, they are personal interests. Yeah, by then, Mheshimiwa, the president, had his own reasons for being against that. Now that he's the president, yeah, maybe he's had somewhere because I know, yeah.
The tunes have changed.
The tune has really changed. And he also likes a lot of books. He reads a lot. And now the situation where he is right now, he's wearing the same shoes that the former president had. Yeah, and the same person who was who dealt with or worked with is the same person who is still here. Yeah,
you said is the common denominator.
The common denominator. Yeah. And it's it's about that. So he must come up with a way whereby if things were to work in his government, he must find a solution. And if talking to the opposition is the solution, he had no option but to go that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from his scale of wisdom, he sat and realized that maybe the government and the country is not headed towards the right direction. I remember there were other polls that were done, and a very big percentage indicated that they feel the government and the country is not heading in the right direction. Now, to have an holistic view for this, the president had his reasons for allowing these talks to go on.
Sure.
And then now the other side of the camp, which is the Azimio La Umoja, and which is headed by the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. They also had their reasons. At your engagement with the respondents, maybe you can give us the reasons why Raila felt that the bipartisan talks have to take part, and were the respondents also aware of these reasons, or they equally had other reasons that maybe if they could have been given the platform to participate in the bipartisan talks, the public participation bit, they could have brought in other reasons apart from the ones that the 10 issues. Yeah, the 10 issues. Yeah.
I think during the public participation, which was there, I think it was there. So many issues have come up. Yeah, we have was it Pokot? They wanted a constituency. Then the Canadian guy wanted a constituency.
Our brother.
And there was also this issue of Suba. Is it Suba? They wanted a county. Korea wants a county. And I thought there was a very good question which came from Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. If you were to take this direction, how many constituencies are we going to have in Kenya? If we take this direction, how many counties?
Additional counties.
Because every clan will want a county. Exactly. Every clan will want a constituency. Then he broke it down and said, if we take this direction, even every family will want a ward.
Exactly.
So
a family, a clan.
Exactly. A county going that way. So I think that public participation was there, and so many issues came up. And we are just waiting to hear how the report is going to be. And before that, we asked regarding the ongoing bipartisan talks, which of the following is closest to your own opinion? So there are issues that we wanted to know, and one of them was, is this an effort by citizens to make the constitution more effective in addressing their own problems? Yeah. So 49% thought it was that way.
That is 49% of the entire
The
sample.
population, yeah, exactly. Then there is this 24% who are of the opinion that this is just an effort by both politicians and the citizens to solve situations in the country right now. Then there is this population, the 27%, who are of the opinion that this is an effort by certain politicians and influence to influence the 2027 presidential elections. So those are based on perceptions. That's what they believe in. The talks are here to influence the 2027 elections. And also, we wanted to know, and what do you think is the main reason the president, that's President Ruto, supports the bipartisan talks? Yeah. So they had their own reasons. And 19% felt that this is just to influence the next elections. That's the perception towards President Ruto. Then we have this 43% who are of the opinion that President is just trying to encourage the national unity. That stands at 43%.
Which is the majority.
Which is the majority. Yeah. So the majority of the population have got that feeling that the president is encouraging the national unity. Then there is this population who are of the opinion that he's just trying to create more political positions. And then we have 8% who are of the opinion that they are to have a good and better legacy when he leaves the office. Yeah. So from these, we learned that quite a good number are of the opinion that Ruto has got the interest of the nation in hand.
On the same bit, I think you equally had some figures and graphs which were depicted on the same question about Raila
Odinga, exactly. So we went further and also asked, what do you think is the main reason that Raila Odinga supports the bipartisan talks? We wanted to know the views from the president and views towards the former prime minister. And 20% are of the opinion that this is just to correct certain errors in the 2021 Constitution. That's what they think. The reason why, as per why Raila Odinga is supporting the bipartisan talks. Then 48%, which is a good number, are of the opinion that this is just to encourage the national unity and to increase his chances of being the next president at 32%. As a result, as per why he is supporting the bipartisan talk. And quite interesting, and I think from that perspective, the national unity. Yeah. So majority are of the opinion that both the president and the former prime minister are encouraging these talks, and it's towards the national unity.
Okay. Yep. Now, and you know, the political arena, the political sphere is always very funny with very different dynamics. Every other day, there's something different to be discussed. There were talks that, however much we are pushing for the bipartisan talks, it was for self-interest.
Self-interest.
Yeah, actually, you've mentioned that maybe they're trying to pave way for the 2027 elections, and this was a great attack from the Kenya coalition, the KK coalition, towards not even the Azimio coalition, but towards Raila. There were talks that there's nothing that Raila wants, especially now that he has been the common denominator. As long as he will get what he is fighting for, the entire support system behind him, watawacho kumata. And they were saying that the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, Honorable Raila Odinga, is trying to push for his own personal gain. I'm not sure if this one really came out during the study.
I think it came out at this level whereby we asked about his support towards the bipartisan talks. Yeah. There is a portion, which I've just mentioned, that 32%. 32%. They feel that this is just to increase his chances of being the president.
Now, that is where people feel he's fighting for his own...
For his own survival. But if you look at broadly, I think if he's the way they are putting it, fighting for his own survival, I will say there are people behind him because he will never be the president, the deputy, and the ministers.
Yeah.
So I think that's also based on perception. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, however much people are saying that it has the appeal of the national unity and for the entire country to benefit, there are also those who feel that the former prime minister is trying to push for his own personal gains. Yeah. And maybe something that has also been touched, you know, during the campaigns, we could hear the Kenya Kwanza Brigade really campaigning, especially when they were quoting their manifesto. Sisi tunataka kuingia tubadilishe maisha yenu. Mambo ya katiba hatutaguzia kwa sasa. Wale wengine wanataka kubadilisha katiba, wakuwe na prime minister, wakuwe na nini. And then now, once elections was done, everything is over, they're in office. The Kenya Kwanza coalition is the first one to go, let me say, against what they did not want to take place, which was the
change of constitution.
Change of constitution, which was embedded in the building, the BBI, Building Bridges Initiative. Walisema hawataki mambo na kuongeza other offices like the prime cabinet secretary. Hawataki mambo na kuongeza mambo to things to do with more constituencies and more counties. But if you look at it as at now, they are the ones who are doing this. We have Musalia Mudavadi's office and his spouse. We have other offices that were brought forth, but the courts nullified when the CASs were announced. Was it a number of 50-something? But it was nullified. Now, if you look deeply into this, you'll see that, yes, the government was trying to fight, during campaigns, they were trying to fight the idea of changing the constitution, but now you can see even the Nandi senator, Cherargei, alikuwa anasema, why not? We can change the presidential term from 5 years to 7 years. So, which brings the question of, was it really coming out during the study if people were supporting the making of any changes to the constitution?
Exactly. So, Mr. Sharon, there is something we call reality check, and we've got something we call the politics. Before we come into the constitution, the changes that they are proposing, I had a chat with one of my friends, a politician.
Mwanasiasa.
I'm not going to mention him. He might be watching right now. But I asked him, Mwesh, lakini saa zingine nikikuona kwa TV, I just feel like switching and going to another station. And what he told me was, which is, it had a lot of weight. And as you asked me before, if perception can sway others, he told me, we tell the masses what they want to hear. So maybe by then, while they were talking about will not make any change in the constitution, that's what the masses wanted to hear by then. But now the reality is knocking. So that's why we have this question. Do you support making of any changes to the constitution by any means?
Well, of which this was a question that was equally tackled in the study.
In the study, So before we come up with the questionnaires, we sit down and analyze and internalize what's going out there. Then we also sat down as a team at Infosearch Solutions, and we've been following the bipartisan talks, the proposals being made. So that's why we came up with this question, and we asked, do you support making of any changes to the constitution? By any means. In fact, we had to put it in bold. By any means. 36% said yes.
They want...
If those changes can bring change, then let them go ahead.
Why not?
Why not? Let them make the changes. And as you will find in the main report, it's been broken down to male, female, going down, and regions. And 53% said no. We don't need changes right now.
Which is the majority.
Which is the majority, exactly. And there is this population, not sure. At 11%.
We're not sure. We need to have a sitting with them.
In fact, we need to have a sitting with them. Yeah. You know, as we were collecting this data, there are Kenyans, who are like, let the government, let the opposition do what they want.
And let the government rule the way it wants.
Exactly.
Now,
we don't care. So we are not sure whether, even if it's changed today, if
it won't
remain the same, I'll still remain the same person. Yeah, those are personal gains. Yeah.
But I think the Kenyan citizens at large should equally get to understand the significance of taking part in public participation and being part of the ruling government. Because I strongly believe it is not just the duty of the opposition to keep the government on check. Because there are some lapses that the opposition can have. But now we, as the majority, as the citizens of Kenya, here there are shareholders and non-shareholders. You realize, the non-shareholders could also be very many. So you see, there's that voice.
So where do you fall? Are you one of the shareholders?
I realized I'm a little bit neutral. So wherever I see there's honey and milk being drunk, that's where I run to.
So you fall amongst the not sure group.
But we are all Kenyans.
We are all
Kenyans.
Sure.
Yeah. So there's that bit of Kenyans having to see the significance of being part of a government, where this is called ile sauti ya mwananchi. Because there are some bits of keeping the government on check that the opposition cannot do. But nowadays you see tuko na ile bunge ya wananchi.
Exactly.
And then we have nowadays we have very many social media platforms where people can easily air their grievances and make noise where they feel things are not going right. Which now also begs for that vacuum of how are you not interested. I mean, I don't know, and I didn't understand when you're analyzing your data. The I don't know bit. It should not be over a certain percentage because it's not going to give any value to when you're doing a report. Because if 50% of your respondents say, I don't know, I mean, they're not helping to get to the reason and the objectives of why certain kind of studies are being done. And now as we maybe come towards...
no, let me just catch you short on the I don't know aspect of it. Though you should never say it doesn't help. That's where we say the professionalism now comes in.
Yeah, the scholars.
The scholars and the scientists. Now, that's where you come in. Why is the masses not aware of these issues? Is it because of lack of sensitization? Or where might be the problem? Is it the leaders? Yeah? Is it the scientists like you, the scholars? Is it the media? Yeah. So it should never be thrown out. Yeah.
So it also gives a report on something.
On something.
This is a lack of awareness because of ABCD.
Exactly.
And that is where maybe the civil education comes in. Exactly. Nobody's even teaching people about like this is the constitution, these are your rights, this is what you should be doing. And now we are having a bipartisan talk that is continuing. You should be aware of this. Okay, cut you short, you can proceed.
So your question did not come out clearly. Can you just come up again?
No, actually, I was just giving flesh to this bit of I don't know. And you are saying it should not be rubbished.
It should not be rubbished. You know, it will be worrying if I ask you right now, can you show me the matatus zinaenda West? And you are in this region, and you tell me, where is West in Nairobi? Yeah, I don't know that area. Yeah, you know, I have to go back and sit down and start asking myself, why? You see, so it should never be rubbished. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's an issue, I think, that has passed me. There's an item that you really wanted to share, which is part of the report. I don't know whether we've tackled it, but I'm not seeing it in part of my notes. Maybe if you have it before we now.
Which one?
I'm not so sure. I can't remember it quite well, but from my slide, I'm not seeing it. But we can proceed. Before we finish, maybe we can revisit.
Okay.
Now, those who are aware that the bipartisan talks have been continuing. At some level, I think they started moving from Nairobi to other counties. The last time I saw, they were in Nakuru, and very other senior members of Kenyan citizens were taking part. I saw former Attorney General who was there giving his thoughts and opinions. Gideon Muigai was giving thoughts and opinions. And now, are even people aware? I don't know whether you addressed this, but those who indicated that they're aware of the bipartisan talks, are they aware that it is coming towards the end, where now maybe we should be very eager to get the recommendation, the conclusion towards the last shots of these talks?
Okay, basically, most of them are aware, and they were saying, though it was never captured in this study,
it wasn't captured,
but it came out during the focus group discussions and the ideas. Most of them, they are aware it's coming to an end. Yeah, because some will say, we heard the opposition leader giving them an ultimatum. Those 60 days are almost elapsing, so they are aware it's coming to an end.
Okay.
So they are just waiting for the outcome.
Any recommendations that they had as the respondents to this study? Maybe things that they would have really loved to be aired, things that they would have really loved to be part of these bipartisan talks, and things that maybe they're equally looking forward to when this report shall be handed to the president. What are they expecting?
As usual, Kenyans are expecting a lot of things. And as usual, they will never get everything. Because there are a lot of issues that they come up with. Yeah. Like, for instance, we talked about the creation of the constituencies, the wards, the counties.
Some other people want counties. Some want the president's term to be taken to 7 years from 5 years.
So it means that will be coming to, is it 14 years? Yeah.
If somebody is re-elected, that is 14 years.
So you can imagine. There is a friend who also is vying and is maybe 70-something. And he hears that it should go for 14 years. So he will start imagining, is this thing going to happen? But there are a lot of expectations from the population, and we just hope that they will be met. And in our report, there are some verbatim, the opinions from different people, which were captured face-to-face and on desk review.
So all these were shared by the masses that were interviewed?
Exactly, and some were gotten through desk review online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it really sounds good, which to me, I feel having that bit of public participation, especially to those people who cannot be reached easily by such kind of sittings. You know, the sittings were in Bomas. From Bomas, it went to Nakuru. And then now when you're doing your study, you find that you go deep and penetrate into the villages. And when we gather this kind of information, and it is information that is very worth sharing so that it can be part of the bipartisan talks. It really gives the significance and the reason and purpose as to why we have to do such kind of polls and studies and to bring the general mass into being part of the bipartisan talks. So maybe as a parting shot, as we come towards the end, we always have studies. What would you say maybe are some of the very significant very, very important reasons as to why we should be having such kind of studies and reports given to the public?
I think a bigger mass. You've talked about the villages. Yeah. I'm very sure, as much as there was public participation, like back in my village, yeah, there is a place called Ndiru. Yeah, I'm very sure nobody participated. Yeah, so being that it was being done, not everybody was reached. That's why we do the research. We do the analysis, we come up with the report. If possible, we reach the media so that it can reach so many people as possible. And I think so many studies should be done to make even those who cannot be heard, be heard. Yeah.
Actually, also brings to my question of after such kind of studies are done, how or what should be the best platform to present such kind of a study? Because you'll find that maybe a study like this is being done, a report is done, taken to the relevant persons who wanted. They take the report, put it in the drawers.
First of all, it's all based with on the intentions. Yeah, it might reach people, but what's going to be done about it? Yeah, it has reached you. What are you going to do about it?
What next?
What next? That's the question. But reaching these guys, I think so many platforms should be created. So many, we should give a lot of thought into this. The masses in Nairobi, how can they be reached? The masses in Turkana, how can they be reached? They don't have the smartphones. Yeah. So internet is one of the issues over there. The transport system is an issue over there. So how can they get this information? So we should come up with platforms first on how these people can be reached.
Is this an avenue that we should project? Going down there, having focus group discussions, getting the thoughts and opinions, bringing it back to the relevant issue, relevant bodies?
I'll say yes anytime. Even if we can have like 47 focus groups per day, it will be healthy. As long as these people in Pokot, these people in Kuria, these people in Kilifi, their voices can be heard.
Now, I've just remembered some time back, we had, and there was a public uproar about a public participation that was done when, again, the Inspector General, Mr. Kwame, and his team wanted to change the police uniform. You know, everybody was asking, okay, we saw on television that there was a public participation, people were being asked, but the first question that came, what criteria was used to bring these participants to this discussion? And who are those participants? Because somebody said, hawa si tu ni mapolisi wenzao, maybe the family and spouses of this police. So you see, they were indicating that a public participation was done to get people's thoughts and opinions about changing the police uniform. And then now again, there was this uproar again on our police force being taken to Haiti. It did not have, still it hasn't had a parliamentary discussion. And then people really felt that there should be a public participation. So public participation, I think, is one very strong and powerful instrument that should be used anytime I think major changes need to be done, either in the political sphere or wherever the government wants to do any other thing, because I think that's why we always have the referendums when the constitution wants to be amended. Yeah. So with the very many said and done and discussed, maybe we can have a parting shot so that we can bring a very candid discussion to an end.
Maybe in conclusion,
Yes, please.
as much as we support the public participation.
Yeah, we 100% do so.
Exactly. So there are certain issues that cannot be put into public for participation. That's according to me. That's my opinion. Yeah, like sending our police or whoever or the military to Haiti. Tell me if it were put on public participation or whatever name that we can give it. Yeah, we say Sharon Paul, SP, your son is a
Police officer.
Anaenda Haiti. Utakubali?
Like throwing my son to the mouth of a crocodile.
So they are professional to deal with certain matters. But if it's touching the public, I think public participation is the way to go.
Okay. Yeah. So there are aspects that are left for professionals, and there are aspects that are left
the public
for the
should
public.
participate and still analyzed by the professionals. That's Kenya where we are.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bwana Joshua Odhiambo. This is the founder and CEO. However, I had you introduce yourself as the director as well. So nipatie one of these titles, man. Wewe ni kila kitu pale. Mr. Joshua Odhiambo, founder and CEO, as well as the research director at Infosearch Solutions Limited. We've been having a discussion on a report that was done from a study that they conducted on public participation about the bipartisan talks, which is, I think, as now is the most spoken about item within government and on the opposition sphere. Thank you so much for getting time to come and share these candid thoughts and opinions about this. And we are equally looking forward to having such kind of discussions in future so that we can help people to dissect and understand what the public and the masses have on certain issues. And as you said, it's certain issues that affect the public. Once it is, there are issues that need professionalism, we will leave it for the professionals.
Like you.
Like us, exactly. Who are in the market and social research. It has been our day today. We are coming to the end of the focus group. Keep following us on our social media handles. That is at Sharon Paul SP on Facebook and Tukumita Tuku as well on Facebook and Sharon Paul Media on YouTube and Tukumita Tuku. Let us get to understand what you would like us to bring to you, what kind of discussion that you would like us to indulge with you that will make you always staying with us. Till next time, it is goodbye for now. Unacha ziada chochote?
We've got a lot to discuss, but thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. We are working on a study. If given chance, we'll share it again on the high cost of living in Kenya.
Those are some of the issues that are really affecting us right now.
Yeah, those are some of the issues.
Please bring it. Mwita popote ulipo, tumekuja kufika tamati and see you when you're back. Bwana Director, I think we are good to go.
Thank you.
Okay, karibu sana.